Hello guys, welcome back to our next session. So without wasting much time, today let us discuss about participative management. So this is also a technique of motivation. So here participative management refers to as an open forum of management where employees are actively involved in organizations decision making process. So the concept is applied by the managers who understand the importance of human intellect and seek a strong relationship with their employees. So they do understand that the employees are the facilitators who deal directly with the customers and actually satisfy their needs. So, to beat the competition in the market and to stay ahead of the competition, this form of management has been adopted by many organizations. So, they welcome the innovative ideas or concepts and thoughts from the employees and involve them in decision making process. So as I just now said that participative management is an approach which gives everyone in the organization an opportunity to contribute their skills, knowledge and talent to improve the organization. Then moving upon to our next slide, which speaks about you know participative management. It's also known as industrial democracy, or as mentioned here, employee involvement or participative decision making. You can also call them as co-determination or employee involvement. Even yeah, as I said, the participative decision making. So the concept of employee participation in organizations decision making is not new. This is not at all new. So however, the idea couldn't gain that so much of popularity among the organizations, but studies have shown that only 3 to 5% of the organizations have actually implemented this kind of concept in their daily operations. And though the theory of participative management is an old as the institution of employees or the employers, still it is not applied by the large population of the organizations. So the idea behind employee involvement in every stage of decision making is absolutely actually have to achieve the objectives or the goals. So this increases the freedom and the transparency in companies operations, that take it to the next level, or it strengthens the basis of the organization. So on the other hand, you can say that there are several companies that straightway rule over the possibility of participative decision process. So according to them, employees misuse their freedom of expression and participation in decision making, as it provides higher status to employees and empower them. So however, there are many companies who have embraced this particular style of management and are now getting of course positive results. And for example, I can name Toyota is the best example, wherein the company has been following suggestions or schemes and the employee involvement procedures for over more than a decade now. So the management receives almost maybe just I recently read in a article wherein you receive 20 lakh suggestions and ideas every year, and around 95% of these are implemented by the company. Okay, so 20 lakhs is not a small thing. Just imagine there is a separate department wherein they just brainstorm the employees, or they even encourage other people, whoever wants to do research and all, they take interns. When you all go for internship, so they ask much more ideas. They ask if anything that you have found out. They ask you to prepare a proposal, and uh, all these things they actually implement. That is what I'm telling. 94% of these such kind of suggestions are implemented. Maybe they do here or there slight changes, but if of course, yes, they consider all these. So around 5000 improvements per year have been made in Toyota, and it is one of the fastest growing organizations globally. So the need is to develop and implement a comprehensive company policy, and everything works pretty well over there. Not only that, I can give you another example, that is British Airways, uh, which is which has implemented this participative management. So during economic downsizing or such pandemic situations, employee suggestions help them a lot to cut annual costs of their operations by 4.5 million pounds. So this is just I can say it is unbelievable. So the company would have suffered from probably huge loss because of this pandemic situations. Invariably, almost all the companies have most of the companies, I can say most of the companies, yes, they do have suffered of huge losses. So they immediately adopt participative management. It is not like only the employers or the executives take the decision. They ask the employees as well to suggest if they could give any suggestive or innovative or the solutions for whatever the problem is existing. So moving upon to our next aspects, let us speak little bit of characteristics of participative management. Let me just click on the slide. Okay, yeah. So characteristics, or it can be features of participative management. So before starting with actual features or characteristics, see, till now employees have always been bossed around and by their managers, and told what they are supposed to do, and they never had an authority to decide things in the company. So gradually, as the times are changing and the employees are encouraged to participate in organizations decision making process, management motivates them to come up with ideas, suggestions that can make organization process far more efficient and very effectively. So the main idea behind adopting a participatory form of management is to work together, achieve target goals in minimum possible time, and stay ahead to competition. So for some companies, participative management is still a kind of foreign subject. So even now they haven't adopted. So it is nothing. See, you just take decisions. Adopting or implementing or rejecting, that is left to you. But there is nothing wrong in taking decision. Still, now these especially in India, even now they feel this is not adoptable for our country. No, 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 not at all. So the concept is not widespread and is still restricted in most of the organization. So they have this is all based on their attitudes and all. So they have such a weird perception towards it that they can't even picture it working. So the management is such companies doesn't like employees questioning its authority, but the organizations that have successfully adopted this particular style of management, they look upon it as a means to achieve their targets and create a sound working environment. So this concept is gaining worldwide recognition and popularity day by day. So moving upon to some of the characteristics, features of participative management. So it is a method which gives employees responsibility, accountability, and authority over their work. So, when depending upon the marks allotted for each question, you can actually, segregate these points, into separate points. So it's a method of employees, responsibility, you can put it under one point, accountability to the other one, and authority to the third point. So it provides simple tools for employees to improve their work performance and positively impact the bottom line. So it provides an environment to make employees needs known, and creates a vehicle for improved communication between all the areas of the organization. See, not only these, I can add some more points for these. You actually have the psychological satisfaction to employees. So most of our lives are spent at workplace, so it is very important for everyone to have psychological satisfaction as far as our employment is concerned. So commitment from organization and respecting the dignity of individuals, or it can be co-determining the company policies for some of the features of participative management that provides a lot of psychological satisfaction among employees. When you are given some responsibility, you are given some roles, you are given some empowerment, you are given some authority, always have a satisfaction kind. Yes, the dignity always raise your hand, and it improves employee engagement. So as I said, it empowers. Even proper responsibility and accountability is being given, and authority, yes, of course. So that empower, it actually empowers the employees. So participative style of management gives employees a chance to participate in management processes, major decision making processes. So they are encouraged to come up with various views and ideas, or a certain decisions or suggestions. So those days of bosses or bossing is gone. So now they are to be treated like co-workers. So this provides higher status to the employees, as they have they have to say in the decision making process. So, like this, participative management is a universally recognized concept, but still, most of the organizations are, I seriously don't understand still why they hesitate to adopt it. Though this style of management, wherein both the parties, like employer as well as employees, are satisfied, it brings the management and employees closer, and thus, all the organization should adopt this open heartedly. So now let us look into some of the benefits of participative management. So starting with the first one, yes, always you get to have some good innovative ideas that increases the efficiency. So the problem solving process and the openness to new ideas can result in innovation. So apart from this, as mentioned above, there is also known as sharing amongst the workers and the managers. So you share knowledge. So this means that those who are part of a certain process at the ground level give inputs for improved efficiency of the same. So this has dual implications, helping improve the quality of product and curtailing the cost of manufacture and so on. So hence innovation, because you are get taking ideas from different people who think different differently and effectively. One or the other ideas may click to our business. So next, moving upon to next is timeliness. So there is improved communication between the managers and the workers, and between the workers across different units. So a loophole or the flaws is always reported in time. So that is what is timeliness means. So next, moving upon to the next one is employee satisfaction and motivation. So empowering the employees obviously increases their they always feel that that they are the owners of the or the stake holders in this organization or establishment. So this increases a kind of satisfaction, and they are motivated towards achieving their goals. So this obviously increases the efficiency and their productivity and so on. So consequently, there is decrease in absenteeism and less employee turnover. So this also works in attracting more people towards the organization, and this helps in you know the recruitment process also much effectively, because we have already built a brand that gives more of satisfaction and motivation. Next, product quality. So a say in decision making means that workers can immediately pinpoint and suggest remedies or measures for improving the efficiency of the process. So they are a part of CP, because employees or the workers are the one who are actually performing. So they will actually know the plus and minus points, and they can immediately pinpoint if they cite out anything. So this means that the even quality control in product or services is also exercised for the lowest level. Next, less supervision requirements. So there is greater focus on management of self, with due emphasis of widening one's skill set. So one of the major benefits of this is that there is a lesser need of supervision and support staff. So moving upon to the next, it is better grievance redressal. Okay, so increased communication paves way for reduced number of grievance and quick and effective resolution of dispute. So often the things are solved on the spot. So union or management relationship is also benefited and strengthened because of this participative management. So once you are allowing the workers or the employers to participate in the decisions, the grievances also will be reduced, because there is lot of transparency, and the communication is also happens very well. Okay, there are no obstacles. You can freely, you are encouraged to speak out anything. That's why I said there is another word called as employee democracy, because you are allowed to open up for any suggestions. So next, hiring flexibility. So hiring flexibility is increased as a result of cross training, then increased coordination among team members also offers a comfort zone for the newly hired employees. So, however, participative management thus results in overall increase of the ownership of work of an employee. So, this empowerment can lead to increased efficiency, better productivity, improved morale, and job satisfaction, and which all together leads to employee engagement. So, but the fact the participative management requires an overall change in the organizational culture and implementation of the same, especially when there is a bureaucratic style of decision making in place. So, can be, yes, of course, bureaucratic style is, it's always can be, it is a major challenge. So, this style is more adaptable, and it increases employee satisfaction and employee engagement that leads to employee motivation. Some more general points to just put across, the importance of or the benefits of participative management. Our employees identify themselves with the work, which leads to improved performance. Then employees feel motivated since they are involved in management decision making. This leads to self esteem, then job satisfaction and cooperation of employees with the management or the employers. So it reduces conflict and stress, resulting in more commitment to the goals and better acceptance to change. It results in better communication as people mutually discuss work problems. So that's what I said, it reduces the grievance redressal. Better grievance redressal is possible. So the supervisors also not required, and due to lot of satisfaction and motivation, and better communication, it has a smooth understanding, and the smooth flow in the way of decision making. So, however, this is today's session on participative management. Please take a break. Okay, at least take a break of 5 to 10 minutes before moving upon to the next session or to the next slide. So do not continue, just take a small break, because your acceptance level always decreases. So once you go upon a small break, again your mind will be freshened up. Okay, see you guys. Have a nice day. Meet you in the next session. Bye. So hello everyone. I hope you all have taken a small break, as I said earlier. So welcome to our next session, or after a break session on participative management. So now, before actually stressing on the skills required for participative management, see, you can't just take any employee just into decision making process, because the complete organization is dependent on, it's a critical area wherein you're taking crucial decision on the functioning of an organization. So it can either be success or it can be failure. So it's very important that you people have to scrutinize, and you can't just welcome all the employees to participate in the decision making process. So here what exactly is required is, what are the necessary skills or the features that you will have to possess to participate in the participative management, or to participate in the crucial or important decision making in the management process. So before stressing on these skills required, I would just put on light of, first of all the, requires a willingness from the managers to give up some charge to the workers. So it is very important that managers should have this open mind, and so they should have the willingness, to extract or to accept whatever suggestions have been given from the workers. He can't just say, see, I'm superior, I'm more qualified, or I'm more educated, why should I listen to you? So he should not have such kind of attitude, and they must in turn be in a position such that the successful participation of all its ensured, and it cannot be successful in any organization unless and until it is carefully planned or timed and well thought upon. So very important for the managers to have the openness, and to accept all the whatever ideas has been given by the workers. So since participative management is a style of decision making, and therefore its implementation essentially requires a change in the employee's idea of the latter. So this change also means that there is a cultural change required in the organization, or the change from the certain other styles of decision making to the participation styles, and many such things. So one more prerequisite of successful participative management is attitude of the top and the middle management, or those who seek employee interventions in decision making. So they must approach employee involvement with a receptive and open mindset. So this encourages participation, and so they must be, open to new ideas, or even innovative ideas, or any suggestions in some critical, situations like this kind of pandemic situations as well. So this may sound problematic in large organizations, but how the suggestion is being received decides to a large extent whether or not the style of decision making can be successful. And so, not only this, since the decision making is based on the inputs of one and all, and therefore its success also depends on the degree of participation of the employees. In certain organizations, despite obvious proofs, the employees decide not to participate or make contribution. In at organizations, the employees are not skilled enough to make meaningful contributions to the final decision making process. So this can be overcome by imparting the right kind of training, and by the manager himself by asserting the individual strengths and his team members and asking them for relevant contribution based upon the same. So it's very necessary that you choose the right person at right time and for the right decision making. So in large organizations, in order to ascertain the relevance of suggestions, or managers also need to set certain benchmarks or standards for making inputs to various groups, so that discussions are held at levels that are or are consequential, and solutions are feasible economically. So, based on all these prerequisites, we can set certain skills required for the from the workers or the employees, for participative management. So, first of all, he should have interest and concern over the organizational, working environment or operational environment. Then the second one, recognize and enhance his talents in others. So it's very important that he should continuously be upgrading, or he should increase his development skills, and he should undergo many trainings. So even I will tell you people also, if you don't update yourself, you will be outdated. See, in such pandemic situations, especially in such pandemic situations, I can always tell you, there are so many employees who have been laid off or layoffs and all. So how do they select these people? Okay, whoever is updated will be obviously in, because that they need certain skilled workers. So always you should have talents, and you should be ready to take any challenges. So then recognize and work around weakness in others. So being the manager, okay, or if you are being a participative member, it's very important that you need to study the weakness and even the strengths in others, and you need to recognize, and you need to even work on your weakness and strengths as well. Weaknesses, to overcome the weaknesses. So what are the strategies that you can build to overcome the weaknesses? So communication and particularly listening is very important. So once you listen, you get a lot of ideas, and you can actually understand the problems and the things that you have to overcome. Then conflict resolution is solving the grievances. So better grievance redressal, just in previous slide we had discussed about this. Then self control, negotiation, compromise, synergy, teachability, flexibility, correction. These are all skills, some of the skills required for the worker or the employee to be an active you know participative member in this certain decision making. So it's very important to have all these skills, and it is very important to select the right person. So moving upon to our next slide, this speaks about the keys to successful participation. So these are some of the very important aspects regarding the some of the important keywords. And see, if you read them, please pause the video and take a screenshot of all these points. So if you read them, they're all self-explanatory and very simply used vocabulary. And so starting with the first one, it speaks about top management support. Yes, as I told you in the previous slide, very important that managers have to be, the willingness of managers is very important to take the suggestions or ideas wherein the workers put across, because it is the workers who actually knows the advantages and the pitfalls of the actual production process or the operation process or the problems that have been evolved in the organization. So moving upon next, employee support. Yes, employees should completely be engaged in all the aspects, and it is not just enough that you are participating, but you have to give some very important useful inputs for the implementation of the proper decisions. Then free flow of information. Yes, communication is one of the very important aspects for effective participation. Then strong and effective trade unionism. Yeah, as I said, yeah, trade unions play a very important and a critical role in all the aspects. So very important that you get maximum support from the trade unions as well. Then workers education and training. Yes, very important that you are to be educated and you should be trained to certain level, that you need to understand the problems, you need to understand the flaws and the smoothness of what exactly has been involved or undergone, what exactly has to be taken care of, and what are the critical aspects that has to be put light on. Then associate at all levels. Yes, you should be as I said, now it's nowhere like seniors or juniors. Each one has a very important role, and each one has given chance to give their opinions or decisions. So at all, it's associated with all levels, and benefits greater than cost, then employee ability. Yes, as I said, you need to take the right candidate for the right job. Then employee interests. Yeah, there's definitely they need to show their interest, since you are giving empowerment in order to make a very crucial decisions in the upliftment for the organization. So these are some of the keys to have a successful participation. Then moving upon to our next topic. So next, let us speak about advantages of participation. So here, to give psychological satisfaction to the worker. So that is nothing but you are trying to motivate him, and you are trying to uplift his attitude. So this increases production and job satisfaction. You know, to the high level of motivation in the employee. So same way vice versa also holds true. Decentralized decision making means that everyone has a say, and everyone is very important. Okay, so creating uniform approach of employers and workers. So here you're giving equal importance for employer as well as employees, since you're considering their decisions, their inputs, their suggestions. Okay, so even the employee feels much satisfied, and he feels a kind of dignified position, and he feels more satisfied. So to raise industrial production, then to create platform for direct negotiation. So this helps to create a platform for direct negotiation. Means that means they actually have no barriers in between, and they can meet each one of them directly. And so to raise industrial production, so that is nothing but increase in productivity. So an increased say in decision making means that there is a strong feeling of association, and that the employee now assumes more responsible and takes charge of many aspects. And there is a lesser or delegation or supervision from the manager. So working hours may get stretched on their own without any compulsion or force from the management. So that is called as employee engagement. You involve in many activities. So this leads to, obviously this leads to increased productivity. So then, to remove grievances of the employees, so we actually had discussed this in our previous slide. So let me move on to the next one. To create a feeling of involvement among employees, yes, we also discussed, so that it increases the employee engagement and it improves the quality, since the inputs or the feedback comes from people who are a part of processes at the lowest or execution level. So this means that the even the minutest details are taken care of and reported, so no flaws or loopholes goes unreported down here. So quality control is thus it begins, and it is ensured at the lowest level as well. So to create a feeling of involvement among the employees, this is again nothing but the job satisfaction and the employee engagement that leads to productivity. So to bring stability or prosperity to the business enterprise, to introduce industrial democracy. So next, to introduce industrial democracy. So here democracy means you are like you're open to all the suggestions, their opinions, their innovative ideas. So each employee is welcome to give his suggestions in any type of suggestions. Again, it's left for the management to whether take it or leave, but it's, however, it's open for all the workers and the employees to open up and give their suggestions or ideas. As I said, I gave you an example of Toyota, wherein 90 to 95% of the suggestions have been taken and they will be implemented. Next, look into some of the limitations of participative management. So there is a flip side of everything, of course. So participative management stands no exception to it. So whereas this style of leadership or decision making leads to better participation of all the employees, there are undoubtedly some disadvantages or limitations too. So, many times what happens, just generally, I'm telling that decision making might slow down. So, participative management stands for, increased participation when so many employees, so many workers, so many suggestions. As I said, in Toyota, every year there is a 20 lakhs of suggestions. So, each one scrutinizing, each one, working on pros and cons, it takes a lot of time. So this is one of the you can either say it's a disadvantage or limitation that you will be undergoing. So inputs and feedback start pouring from every side, so it takes time to verify the accuracy or even the measurements, which means that decision making will actually slow down. The second one is disadvantage of the second one. It can also be security issues. So the security issue in participative management also arises from the fact that since early stages, too many people are known to lot of facts and information. So this information may transform into critical information to a later stage, and there is thus greater apprehension of information being leaked out. Many times all secrets also can be leaked out. So other than these, we can consider technology and organization today are like so very complex that specialized work roles are very much required for participation. So yes, inevitably lots and lots of changes we are seeing nowadays. So there is no evidence that participation is good for everybody. Okay, so participation situation can be used to manipulate employees by management or trade unions or undiscovered clicks. So presence of fraudulistic concepts of master or and servant prevalent in India leads to loss of interest on part of workers. Sorry, I think I need to correct this. So present of feudalistic concept of master and servants prevalent in India, okay, leads to loss of interest on parts of workers. So trade unions indulge in politics and have very little time to think about the participative management. Okay. So unwillingness of the employer to share his power with the workers representative. Yeah, as I said, as I told, some key for successes, it's very important, for the manager's willingness to accept new ideas and his subordinates participation. So obviously, this if the manager is not willing to accept his ideas, okay, if he feels that why I should listen to his subordinate or the worker, even though when he is much more, qualified and senior. So these are some of the attitudinal or perceptual, what behaviors that actually exists in every one of them. So next, moving upon to the next point, it speaks about the perfunctory attitude of government toward participation. Okay, so very important that everywhere you government is by default involved in all the aspects. So this is one more limitation that can be considered. So, as mentioned earlier, managers decline to share powers or to delegate, apprehending that they might lose authority by doing so. So, workers similarly, show a disinterest in the participation of, presuming that everything to be well in order. So, further, there is a lot of bias from the top management to step back on their promises when they fall to see participation deliver results in quick time. So, however, undoubtedly, participative management is one of the better approaches to management. But like any other, style of decision making, they do have all these limitations. Uh, and of course participative management cannot work uh, in isolation, so it involves each and every member of the organization or for deriving benefits and successes out of the same. So no single member or employee group can be left out. So there are limitations, but however, they arise because of their either or the other groups is left out of. There is serious communication gap that needs to be taken care of. So as I said, communication is very important. So once this communication gap is being taken care of, then the participative management will be much more effective and efficient. So this will be our last slide for today's session. I'll not take much time on this. So however, participation management calls for a change, and this change cannot, come overnight. So it requires patience and consistency before employees realize the usefulness of the management style. So there are other problems that often arise with the managers, and the problems may arise because of, managers often view that it as the ends and not as the tool. So there is confusion if whether participative management means democratization, and whether managers sometimes manipulate the process for their own advantage, and so on, because of course they have a certain authority. So there are always, participation management may fail because of some of the reasons which I have put across. Wherein let us start with the resistance to change. So participation management calls for a change in the entire organizational culture. So older employees, especially resist change and do not welcome it. So they take it as a device to curtail, their powers. So training is also, not welcome in this kind of environment. So the next is the workers' tendency to deviate. So managers must be aware of the tendency of the workers to try spending more time formulating strategies than focus on job in hand. So this needs to take care of by the manager in the organization. So again, top level management may not support this style if they find existent inefficiencies. Then one stop solution. So participative management cannot always be a one stop solution for every problem. So often the manager needs to delegate or take a decision on their own without consulting or seeking others advice. So for example, like cases where disciplinary action is needed, do not qualify for participation management. So then size of the organization. So undoubtedly this style of management can be more difficult to implement in organizations that are very big or in size. So big size means that there are large number of management layers. So this often make registering opinions and suggestions very difficult and very tedious. So more difficult can be implementing the same. So abuse of authority. So managers sometimes look upon their own jobs as a silence instead as a responsibility. So they are unwilling to give away some authority to their subordinates, which slows down the and chokes the process of decision making. So often such managers complain of being overburdened with responsibilities. This fails the idea of participative management. So misunderstandings, participation. So this is yet another reason for failure of participative management. So here managers sometimes fail to understand that participative management is not the same as delegating or distributing responsibility. So they fail to recognize the participative style also involves considering the decisions and recommendations of employees with respect and dignity. So however, participation is isolation can be of no use to the organization. So it is a mere wastage of time and resources then. So most of the organizations view it an end per se and not a mere tool. So once this happens, then participation can be used as an effective tool of problem solving. So here this ends the concept of participative management. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. Have a great day. Stay safe. Thank you once again.